I'd like to introduce to you all Eva Clark. And Eva is a medical hypnotherapist. She directs mind-based healing, a nonprofit leadership in the development and application of mind-based practices. And Eva is going to present to you all tonight, creating a powerful healing remedy. And just so you all know, she will also be at our conference in March. So if you like what you see today, come and see Eva again in March, right in Glendale, California. And Eva, I will turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Nicole. So I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm specialized in applying techniques of hypnotherapy and NLP to the physical symptoms of chronic disease. And this is not a common specialty, but it's a very powerful one. And I kind of stumbled upon this specialty. I was going along in my training, and in one of my NLP classes, we were taught how to eliminate an allergy. In one session, we could eliminate even a lifelong allergy to cats, to grass, to shrimp. And that was almost too incredible to believe. So I took the process and I applied it to anyone who would let me practice with them. And it worked. Over and over again, people stopped having those old allergic reactions, no matter how severe. And that got me hooked. If we can do that, if we can change a physical symptom, not a psychosomatic symptom, not stress, but if we can actually change a physical symptom, such as an allergy, what else can we eliminate, right? And when I started researching what hypnotherapists and other NLP practitioners had achieved in this arena, there really wasn't that much out there. You know, there was a lot of symptom management and relief, right? Especially pain management, or managing stress of having been diagnosed with a chronic disease. But only a few professionals were actually focusing on changing physical symptoms of disease using mind-based practices. So I took on the challenge. And I now have a full-time practice doing medical hypnotherapy. So in medical hypnotherapy, we focus on three aspects of if your clients have a lot of discomfort, it's going to be really hard for them to do the deeper work. The second thing we do is really address the deeper cause. Because if you don't address this and you only relieve or eliminate a symptom and there's a reason behind it, the symptom will come back, or a more severe symptom somewhere else will appear. And the third thing we focus on in medical hypnotherapy for chronic disease is activating healing, the body's automatic healing processes that it's been doing since, since we were a fetus. And that's the area we're going to focus on today, activating healing. So my goal in today's webinar is to get you guys as well hooked into what is possible in the field of medical hypnotherapy, and hopefully get more of us working confidently with chronic disease. So to design a powerful healing remedy, I wanted to actually pull from some successful remedies from other fields that are not hypnotherapy and NLP that can get our creative juices going so that we may extract from them the pieces that we need to include in our healing remedies. So the first one, the first successful case we're going to look at is going to be a placebo surgery. So this is the year 2000-2002, and a doctor named Dr. Mosley and his team in Houston decide to do a double-blind study to compare two standard processes for severe arthritic knees. And they, of course, are going to compare it to a placebo. So all three groups, the two different standard processes and the placebo, they all receive the same pre- and post-surgery physical therapy and preparations and treatments. All three actually receive general anesthesia. All three actually have their knee cut open and then get sutured. They all stay in the surgery room for the same amount of time, because if they didn't, someone would be like, oh, I must have gotten a placebo because I was only in there for 15 minutes. And even though in the case of placebo, the doctor and his teams, while in the surgery room, would splash water and clank things, metal objects and stuff, just to simulate the surgery. And at the same time, they even had a TV going with a standard process. So all this is going on so that the patient in no way knows that it's only a placebo. What was the conclusion to this placebo surgery? It actually turns out that all three processes were just as successful. Just the process of going through the surgery had produced mechanical changes to the knees, even if nothing had been done to the knees. So think of this, no other change but this ritual of going through surgery. So do you think that if there was no surgery, that they just did some physical therapy and just did a couple stuff there, that the outcomes would have been just as successful? Probably not. And do you think that just the placebo surgery, just that part of this ritual, just the placebo, just the cutting the knee, closing the knee, and that's it, if that would have done the trick? Or was it the whole ritual, right? The whole preparation, key moment, and the rehabilitation that actually got the process of healing the knee going, no matter what the treatment was. So hopefully that's going to start getting your juices going. The second case I wanted to talk about, also not in the field of hypnotherapy and NLP, is in the field of psychoneuroimmunology, PNI. And PNI really begins in the late 70s and the 80s. And there's two doctors, Dr. Adder and Dr. Cohen. They discover psychoneuroimmunology, that actually a change in one can cause a change in the other. They discover that actually the immune system can be conditioned in the same way as Pavlov's dogs learned to salivate in response to a bell. So every time they were fed, there was a bell, and then after a while, all they needed was a bell, and the dogs already responded as if they were eating. So they took this same system, this same process, and they said, okay, they had a group of mice that were prone to lupus. And so what they did was they gave these mice saccharin-flavored water at the same time that they would inject these mice with immunosuppressant that would help with the lupus, right? And they discovered that the immune system would actually associate the saccharin-flavored water to the immune suppressant, to the point that just the taste alone of the water would trigger the reduction of the inflammation and the symptoms of lupus without the injection. So this has actually been used in humans now as well. There was one case, a 13-year-old girl with a very life-threatening illness. And her physician, the only real option that he had for her was putting on a very, very powerful drug. The problem with this drug was that it had extreme side effects. And with her current failing health, she would not tolerate for very long the drug and could risk organ failure. So he designed a similar solution, a similar healing remedy. What he did was he had his patient take the drug only for a very short period of time, but while she took it, she was to combine it with a very peculiar flavored water. A flavor that was very unique and not present in any other foods or drinks that she took. And in this way, the doctor was able to get her off the drug and just have her continue taking this flavored water with similar results in her body. So what can you take away from this sample, right? What is the remedy? How is it being created? Senses and does the action associating it with something innocuous and then removing the original remedy, but keeping this one, which triggers the automatic healing response of the body. In NLP, we call it foreground background, all right? And now one more example. I want to kind of give you guys different ones to kind of see, you know, what things do we want to apply to our healing remedy. In this case, we're looking at, oh, you know, if I can associate to something that's very powerful and associate it, I could trigger also the body's response, right? And it's not like the first day she has the saccharin or whatever the flavor is, triggers the response. It's actually, again, a process of getting her body used to it and then removing and associating. One more example I wanted to give you guys just to kind of get our ideas of what we're doing to create our healing remedy. In this third example, we're going to take a case from health psychology. There's a psychologist, Ellen Langer. And in this case, Ellen Langer wanted to see if changing a mindset would change a physical component, right, of the body. So she designed a study called the chambermaid study. And in this study, Ellen and her team wanted to see if changing the chambermaid's attitude about their work, you know, cleaning hotels all day long, was beneficial to their health. And if it would, you know, if they could make a change in their attitude, if it would change them physically, right? So at the start of the study, the women they had in the group, they appeared no healthier than the average adult. They were a little overweight, high blood pressure, health problems here and there. And as with most adults, they complained that they didn't have enough time to do exercise. So her team explained to these women that actually the work that they were doing every day, 40 hours a week, was equivalent to being all day at the gym working out. Her team explained that, you know, making beds was like using the rowing machine, that going up and down the stairs was like the steps, that taking laundry and stuff was like doing weights, right? That's all she did. Just made meaning out of something they do to mean something positive. A month later, the group that has been told this and now believes that work is healthy exercise without any other change to diet, to the amount of work they're doing, nothing, had lost weight. There was a difference in the weight to hip ratio and body mass index, and they had lowered their blood pressure just from the change in their mindsets of something they thought was negative, like too much work, not enough time, to something very positive for them. So what can we extract from this example? What was in this case the weight loss remedy? And let me just grab the process too, because we're going to go through this quite quickly. So in all of these three, we've got a couple things going, right? We have a ritual. There seems to be like a process building up to something, and it's in time. It's not like they come to your session, boom, you do something, they go, and they're not supposed to have a symptom anymore. You don't want them to have attitude, because more times than not, they will disappoint themselves. You want to have the attitude that it's a process, like any healing of the body. It takes time, right? Also, it's repetitive, right? With the chambermaids, they are doing it daily. It's a repetitive action. With the surgery, they're doing all these physical therapy things, all these little exercises. There's something they're doing daily, which is helping their knee heal. So we've got a ritual going on. We're thinking of repetitive. That's not right, but anyway. And there's even a remedy going on. In the second case, there is a water, right? There's something one is taking. In the third case, there's an action. In the first case, there's an action too, right? Daily work. And there's a lot of repetition. So all of these as well is there's an expectation. So in the first case, you're going to have this big surgery. It's a big deal. You have an expectation it's going to be really good. This is Dr. Mosley. You've heard a lot about him. In the second case, there's an expectation as well. He's explained it to the client. He's explained the immune system, P&I. He's setting up the expectation for this to work. and in the third case as well. So we're going to make sure that we take into account and we build for our clients expectation. All right? Process in time, repetition, something that keeps reminding them. It's nice that if you incorporate something that's already part of their lives as part of the solution, that's always makes it easier, and something that they do over and over and over again. So I wanted to share the steps of the process that you should have received. And this is actually the process I use most to activate that healing of the body, to actually trigger it. Okay, so this is, parts of this process is actually an adaptation of the style of processes that Connie Ray Andreas and Steve Andreas do. Many of their processes are about looking at the pattern of an issue and then looking at the pattern of something that's similar yet is not an issue they're actually successful with, and then mapping across how the mind sees something that's successful to the problem state. And what I love about that is it's actually working at the subconscious level. You're making changes of the mental pattern to trigger automatic healing. Okay, so the first step, in the first step of this process, creating a healing remedy, we're going to collect data on how your client experiences or the symptom or the disease you want to work with. You can also use this with issues and injuries. Most importantly, how does their mind perceive what will happen to them in regards to this disease or the physical symptom? And this is what's brilliant about this technique. Our minds, and thus our bodies, they tend to perceive symptoms in a certain way, especially chronic. And as you do this work and as you practice this, you'll notice that usually what's happening is they usually perceive a symptom as they think about what's going to happen. They actually perceive it as forever getting worse. They perceive it as doom, doom, doom until they die. Or they perceive as I'm just going to get worse and worse and then I see myself in a wheelchair. Or just frozen in time, forever diseased, right? So the first step is you're going to find out how your client's inner mind perceives the disease. And you're going to spend some time really getting descriptive about this, okay? As they think about it, these are the pieces. Do they see themselves out there with the disease? This is kind of odd questions, but as they kind of just close their eyes and perceive themselves, what's gonna, how do you perceive what you perceive will happen? Do they envision themselves out there with the disease and like all sorts of tubes and they're in a hospital bed and everyone has their head down? Or as they think about their disease, do they perceive it in their body? It's like, oh, I'm imagining my knee is just getting bigger and bigger. I can feel it getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger in their bodies, right? Or, for example, do they have a freeze frame? They just see themselves in doom, right? Or in the wheelchair. It's like a freeze frame. Or does it loop over and over again? I had one client who had a broken arm and her arm wasn't healing. And so she came in and we saw that actually her mind perceived the injury as if it were Dumbo, Dumbo from cartoons, Dumbo that just kept falling and re-breaking the arm. So I was like, oh, well, no wonder it's not going into the healing process. It's still re-injuring itself over and over, right? Also find out, what do they tell themselves? Sometimes the things I've heard is, oh no, this is never going to end, or I'm going to end up like my dad. Every time they feel the symptom, I'm going to end up like my dad, right? This is what you're going to change for them. You're going to change how their inner mind perceives the disease, and this is the most powerful step of the process. And the second step, just to prepare the setup, you want to get proof of what is going to be different once it's changed. Now notice what we said. What is going to be different once they're symptom-free, once the physical symptom has changed? We're assuming there's a change, right? We're creating that expectation for them. And the thing is, a lot of times, someone with a chronic disease, they've had it for such a long time, they don't even think about what they're going to do once they no longer have the chronic disease. All they're doing is managing medical appointments and managing how they're going to get through to the end of the day. So you want to collect some information of, have them describe what their life is going to be when they no longer have this issue, because you're going to use that later as a future pacing when you write your script. All right. Then step 3, the second most powerful piece, probably the most powerful piece of this process, just as the first step, is you're going to collect data, again, how their inner mind perceives the disease that they know heals and heals easily. Now, the key is this. You need to ask your client, what seems similar to this problematic disease or symptom, but that heals easily? For example, a flu, right? Or a cut, or something else. They've got a broken, they broke their ankle, and yeah, no issues. It did what it needed to do, and it did it at the right time. And no problem. Okay, you want something that's similar for them. All right. And one of the caveats in this process is when you're trying to see how their mind perceives the success of healing, you want to make sure that when you have them imagining, what do you think is going to happen with this your broken ankle or your cut, have them imagine as if it's happening now. Because the thing is, the symptom they're working on is pretty much happening now. And you don't want to compare that to something that happened 20 years ago, and they start thinking, oh yeah, well 20 years ago I was in my 20s and I broke my ankle, and so I'm seeing myself over here, and yeah, you don't want that, because you don't want to map that. That's going to make no sense for the subconscious, and it's just going to throw it out. You want to have them imagine they just broke their ankle, they just had a break, and what do they imagine is going to happen? Again, test it. How do they see it? Do they see themselves out there? Do they experience the healing happening from within? For example, oh yeah, I see myself, the flu, right? I see myself in bed, I'm waking up, the sun is shining through the window, I'm stretching my arms, and I'm on the other side of the flu. Or are they saying, oh, I'm waking up and I could just feel the energy back in my body, and I know the flu is over, right? Again, is it a video? Is it a freeze frame? What are they saying to themselves, right? And now with this data, you're going to have them experience the disease state in the same way as this other symptom, this thing that they know heals easily. And you can just have them close their eyes and map, or take them into a light trance and create a recording, which is great, because then you got them repeating it over and over, and have them experience healing their disease. And it can be anything. They can be healing lupus, arthritis. You want to switch that mindset easily. Not in any which way healing, because I know with scripts sometimes we think, oh, see yourself healing out there. Well, if in their mind map, when they heal something successfully, they heal it inside, they experience it happening kinesthetically, you want to put that in imagining them healing their chronic disease or symptom. And if they imagine that successful thing is out there seeing the sun shining in your scripts, you want to do the same thing. That's the convincer for the subconscious to make the change, right? Then what I always do is I want to compound it. I want to really convince and create expectations for the subconscious. So I want them to actually envision healing in the past several times, right? My magic number is always 3. Maybe it's a month ago and it was before Christmas and they noticed their symptom and then it healed and recuperated, etc. And then it was 2 years ago and it was summer and it healed. And then have them imagine 3. And then also into the future, right? We want to convince their subconscious, if I've done it before, I can do it again. And we also want to convince, if the symptom happens again, I know it's just a process. It'll heal. No worries, right? And make sure that this remedy is something they can do with time, something that they have reminders of some sort and they can do repetitively, and that it's easy. All right? Okay. So, any questions before we actually break into groups? And you guys are going to do these 2 key processes to really experience what it's like to get those mental maps and to compare them. If you have any questions, and I'll unmute you, or just unmute yourself for a moment.
Aaron, you're unmuted.
Yeah, I'm going to have to leave the webinar, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
If anybody else has a question, you can unmute yourself. I did have that option turned off, but you can unmute yourself now if you have a question.
I do. I'm wondering, I've noticed working with people that they really want to own their disease so often. And have you, it sounds like you've done, quite a bit of work with people. Do you find that people who, it's like, it's my cancer or my broken leg, that the people's actual description that way is something that will cause them any lag time in healing?
Well, that's one of the pieces. So for example, when you compare how they talk about their chronic disease and how they talk about, oh, I had this flu. Oh yeah, I had this flu. It was like, oh my God, Christmas was crazy. I had this flu that da-da-da. And then when they talk about their cancer, it's like, oh, because, my cancer came in, and you're like, oh, isn't this interesting? So when you map across, have them experience, oh, I had this cancer come in, and da-da-da. In the question, that second question, proof, really future pacing, what's going to be, sometimes that becomes a whole session, because as they start thinking about, what do you mean when I'm symptom-free? But then hey, there's some work here to do before they're even ready to make the change. Also, I think in the number 6, as they're doing this process, kind of, we're immersed in the middle of it. I'm going to kind of check in. Is there any part of you that's kind of saying, oh, wait, or no. And then and they know, oh, maybe I'm not quite ready yet. Maybe I need to address that. What is going to substitute this thing I focus my whole life? It's like smoking, right? What's going to substitute all that focused attention? So let's address that, and then it'll be easier to do this process. And you still want to, go into cause, but you don't want their map of the disease to become an obstacle. Because I've noticed that even sometimes working with cause, if they have an expectancy that that's always going to be there. I did a study with MS, and I remember all my volunteers were really improving. It was amazing. And no improvements. And after like 6 months, she was actually a psychologist. She comes into a session, I'm like, wow, yeah, we even had flu come in. It's like she had all these other symptoms come in as well. She had the flu like 3 times in 6 months. And she says at the end of the session, well, it's not like it's going to go away. And I thought, bingo. there's there's an expectation that all of this is great and, nice, but that's going to stay. So that's when it was like, oh, I've got to really, I gotta create that expectation of change. And sometimes this will be the most powerful thing you do with your clients. And sometimes this, addressing the cause. And sometimes a combination. You want to work on all aspects. Hopefully that answered your question. All right. So what I propose that we do is we break up into groups of 2, and we're going to practice asking each other, how do you think about what will happen to you in regards to your neck pain, bruise, something, chronic disease? If you don't have any, health issues, you can use an issue at work, right? Again, as I said, in NLP, this is used a lot for other stuff too, not just disease. So you're going to work on the first one, really map. Is it frozen? Is it a video? Is it out there? Is it in here? What are they saying? As Debbie just said, is it my cancer? Is it the flu? Right? I mean, my cancer in this case. Then you're going to have them think about something that to them seems similar to the disease or symptom, and let them decide. You can pop different, ideas, but let them decide what seems similar to that chronic problem, that thing that never heals. What seems similar that it heals easily? And you're going to do the same thing. How do you think about that, which heals easily? And remember, imagine it happening now, not, you broke that ankle or whatever 20 years ago. All right, so it's 10 minutes each side. If there's a little time, you can map across, have them think about now the disease in the same way. Instead of my cancer, it's, oh, I had the flu, and so I just had to, go and take care of myself and just tone things down, and I and I took a tea, and if you have time, map across, and if not, at least get this experience of seeing just how differently your mind maps things and how powerful it can be if we just change that. All right. All right, so what you can do is, if it's a little hard I have a couple questions, my audio isn't working, etc. If you have any issues, what you can do is, with your partner, decide to take the 20 minutes and just work one-sided. And if not, just come back into the room, kick yourself out of the rooms, and you can end up coming back in. But I would really love you, just give it a chance. This is the first time, there's no wrong way. Just get a little inkling of what's that like. All right.
So there are a couple of people that are saying they are having video or audio problems. So when you all get assigned to a room, because it's going to do it automatically, just go ahead and kick yourself out of the room, and then that should help it. It's going to be 2 to 3 people in each room. So here we go, and I'll let you guys know when it's 10 minutes, and then you can switch.
Yes, so 6:15, switch up.
All right, all of the rooms are now open.
All right. Let me get myself, okay.
Are you able to see the rooms, Eva?
No, usually it pulls out, but you'll see that everybody, their little videos start disappearing.
Okay.
Which is telling them that they're being pulled into the rooms. And it's private, so anything that's happening there, don't worry, no one's witnessing, you're practicing. You don't need to sign out, just write later, or as you get into the room, just cancel yourself instead of saying yes. And again, it can be one side if you need to.
Okay. I am just trying to make sure that so Carolyn Schaefer is in room 5. She's asking for help. She's in there by herself. So should I just let her out of the room, or?
See if they're in the breakup room. If anyone would like to go into the room and they haven't, I think you can hit the bottom right. You'll see breakout room, and it gives you the option, would you like to go in? And they'll pull you into the room.
Okay. So I was able to just put her in a different room.
Oh, nice.
Let's see if anybody else just has one person in the room. Okay, so Kat, I'm going to move. There we go. Actually, we have one room with 3 people, so maybe Kat, I can just move her out and then you can do the process with her. Is that?
There's a couple, I'm seeing a couple more people out here.
So the people that are out here are people who are
Have issues with the videos and everything?
yeah. So Kat, I don't know how to just move her out.
Hers, I'm seeing Kat says, also request to observe, sick in bed, no voice.
Oh, okay. Okay. Barbara Rose. Let's see.
Will.
Hi, Barbara
There she
Rose.
is. Hello.
Here?
Hey, yeah, Mary Long. She can't get her speakers working. I can't hear her.
Okay, so if you guys just go ahead and leave the breakout room, then you can work with Eva.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I can't quite hear you. I'm unmuting you. Yes.
I will turn mine. Okay, good. Oh, I'm sorry that Mary didn't have her speaker on. I get to work with the teacher. That's awesome.
All right.
So tell me what we should do to make this most advantageous for me.
Okay, so would you like to be the client or the hypnotherapist?
I think I'd like to be the client and I'll just observe how this is going. I think that would be really helpful.
Okay, so do you have a symptom or a chronic, something that's not going away?
I actually have heavy metal poisoning from mercury fillings that has been in my body for 40 some years that causes various issues.
Okay, so how do you experience it? What symptoms let you know you have this?
I have developed problems taking medications, some chronic fatigue symptoms, some sensitivity to chemicals. Now, I seem to be having problems losing weight, even though I'm exercising, eating really well. I'm more susceptible to colds and flus, that sort of thing. So that's pretty much what I'm dealing with now.
Flus, there's there's some weight gain, there's
Chronic fatigue.
Chronic fatigue. Okay. So this, what I love is to take a physical symptom. You want something that you're experiencing, because then you'll know if there's a change.
Right.
So example, the physical, the fatigue. How often do you experience it? How do you experience it?
Well, usually I have a breakdown in kind of the middle of the day where I need to rest and I can't think of anything else. So I have to go rest. That usually happens in the middle of the day.
Okay, so you need to go do a rest. Okay, so we're just going to kind of play with how your mind perceives the problem, okay? So when you think about this fatigue and what will happen to you, just kind of notice, take a moment and sometimes it's easier with your eyes closed, when you think about fatigue and what will happen to you, notice, how does your mind think about this?
I get almost panicky.
There's a panic. Okay, so there's something that's going on that's actually creating that panic. So just kind of notice as you think about, maybe today, right, midday, we're experiencing the chronic fatigue. Notice when you think about it, are you seeing Barbara experiencing the chronic fatigue midday? Or as you're thinking about this, are you experiencing it from the inside?
Inside, I think.
All right, so it's kind of inside. So as you're thinking about this, experiencing this fatigue, what are you noticing that's telling you you have it? What are you feeling? What are you even seeing?
Just a lack of being able to mentally function. That's a part of the heavy metal stuff. So I get to where my mental abilities just kind of shut down.
So there's like a shutting down. And as you think about this, my mental abilities just shut down. Notice as you're thinking about this, is this like, as you're thinking about this fatigue and what's happening, is it almost like a video that then just shuts down? Is this just that freeze frame, this is how I feel midday, yes or yes? Just kind of notice, we're kind of mapping how your mind envisions, perceives this. So,
it's kind of like I spiral down, like I can feel myself sort of spiraling down.
all right, so when you think about what will happen, there's kind of and when you're doing this, is Barbara spiraling here, or are you noticing energy spiraling down in here?
Energy spiraling down in here.
Okay. And is there anything you're saying to yourself? Just kind of imagine you're there, it's midday, this thing is spiraling down in your body. Are you saying something to yourself? Just notice, not probably, just kind of imagine it's midday, you're noticing this thing happening.
I must lay down. I must lay down. I must.
I must lay down. Yeah, okay. All right. So what will be proof that you no longer have this issue?
If I can, it's so many aspects.
And I want to pull back. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess I would just say I'd like to feel like other people, a normal, healthy. So no adverse reactions to medications, a normal, healthy energy level, a sense that I respond well and normal to diet and exercise.
So what would be evidence? Because normal is a very subjective.
Right.
Convince your subconscious, you tell your subconscious, be normal. What does your subconscious do? This is normal for me. Okay, well, that would be wrong. Right?
Yeah.
So in that question, proof that's letting you know, proof for you, Barbara, this is different. I'm doing good. What would you be doing midday? Evidence. What would you be doing midday?
Actively engaged in either exercise or enjoyment or work. Yeah.
Okay. So in the middle of the day, is that like 2 p.m.? You notice yourself engaged in an activity.
Right. And feeling,
instead of this, I must blah, 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 blah. Kind of, I'm engaged, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay.
Right.
So the other piece I've asked everyone to do, think about something like a disease you've had before, a symptom you've had before, something, not even that. Sometimes someone's using like when they sit on their foot and it becomes numb, and so it doesn't even have to be any big issue. But think of something that to you seems very similar in some way to this issue, but your body, heals after a few days. It's like, oh, okay, I'm recuperated, I'm done, I'm ready to go. What would that be?
Like muscle tiredness, soreness, from activity, that it goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So,
it heals eventually.
Yeah, and so can you think of when you've done that?
Oh, I work out all the time. So I go through a regenerative, thing all the time.
Okay, so you're constantly kind of working out and you're experiencing when the muscles are kind of tired and then they regenerate.
Yeah.
It's all done, right?
Yeah.
So imagine that happening. You just worked out and your muscles are tired, but that it will, your muscles will heal easily. And as you're thinking about it, I'm just going to ask you that question again. How do you think about muscle tiredness and what will happen to you? And just take a moment to notice, where does your mind go?
For muscle tiredness, I always say I'm really proud of myself for working out.
Yeah, so the discomfort is actually telling you, I am proud.
Right. Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
Right. And as you're thinking about and experiencing this muscle tiredness, notice, if you think about this muscle tiredness, notice, are you seeing Barbara out there? Or are you experiencing in your body how the muscle tiredness recuperates and is done? Just kind of.
I'm in my body usually. Mm-hmm.
So notice that. How does your mind think about recuperating easily from muscle tiredness?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you notice. What's evidence to you in your inner mind?
My inner mind is saying, my body is always healing itself, and I'm always working towards the good.
And as you have that, is there an energy that's letting you know that it's doing that? The body's healing?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just a moment in time, just what is that? What is the proof?
The word faith just is coming to me, just like just that I know that it's faith.
And as you think the word faith, notice if there's any images that sticks with that. Is there any memory that sticks with that? Is there any feelings?
There's an inner knowing. It's just what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm.
There's an inner knowing.
Mm-hmm.
So do you experience anything, neck down? Or you're just like, oh, that's going to take care of itself. I don't need to experience that. I'm just experiencing, this inner knowing.
As for what when I'm in that experience of feeling the muscle tiredness, I usually have only good thoughts going through my head. And it's just this, kind of this positivity of I'm doing something to help myself. So I don't think there's really a physical, other than if I sit with that, I feel a sense of completion, maybe.
So as you feel a sense of completion,
Mm-hmm.
is it already completed, as in the muscles are already recuperated and you're doing good? The sense of completion of the exercise?
It's like the anticipation that I know I'm going to get to where my muscles are fine.
Exactly. And so what we're doing is, and how does your mind do that? Just notice, I know my muscles will be fine because, just notice what your mind does. It's a very subconscious kind of thing, but there's proof. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's because I see Barbara out there and she's fine. She did it so many times, she's done it again. Just
I
take
guess,
your time to think how you
like,
know it's going to heal.
I mean, I guess I know because I have repeated the pattern enough times. So I know that's true.
So in this
And I trust my body, actually. There we go.
trust of the body,
Hmm.
where do you know to trust? There was a place that trust lives.
In my heart.
Okay, so there's a thing in the heart. If that had a color, what color is it?
Purple.
Okay, it's purple. All right, there's a trust that's purple there in the heart.
Hmm.
And we're going to be coming back in a few minutes. We still have a few minutes. So what here I noticed is in the first one, the disease state, there is an energy that spirals down, right? It engages her body. And she's saying to herself, oh, I must do this.
Hmm. Hmm.
In the second one, the discomfort is actually making her proud. Wow, I worked hard,
Hmm.
right? And she's really not what's happening here, it's fine. She trusts it. Oh, I trust it. I don't, there's a thing here and that's it. And so,
That's very good.
yes.
Because this is very much a spiritual journey. It's like a part of me knows this is what I was supposed to go through. I'm trusting. I know. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very accurate.
What you're going to do is compare. I want you to take the first one and you're going to pretend it's almost like going to the gym, that the fatigue is maybe just you worked a little too strenuously, keyboard style, and you're noticing the discomforts, but this time you're feel the faith in your heart.
Hmm.
Hear yourself saying, I'm so proud of what my body's working on. I know it's going to totally going to figure this one out.
That's awesome.
And so now you have the subconscious ingredients to create yourself a healing remedy.
Awesome.
So that the problem actually creates the remedy. And you need to be doing this every single, instead of, oh, see, it didn't happen because I did it yesterday in class. And then, no, every single time. The minute there's a discomfort going, I'm proud of myself. I worked a lot this morning. It might have been this kind of work or this kind of work, but I worked a lot. And I know my body's going to figure this out and figure out what it needs to do to heal this.
And I've been doing that. So this is so awesome because I've been getting closer and closer, but I love the association, the idea of the association and having.
And then using that to create your script for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And even add bits to the ritual. It's like after the gym, do you do something for yourself? When you notice the achiness, do you go and have a power drink or something, supplements of some sort? Do you give yourself
I feed myself really well. I feed myself a nourishing breakfast. Yeah. That's what I do.
There, it's like, oh, how can I, anytime I feel like, oh, I need a nourishing to get my body to. So those are the bits. All right, so those are the two pieces I just wanted everyone to kind of work with.
That's awesome.
It's just an amazing, oh, wait a minute. Can I think of it this way?
Yeah, that's very good.
And it makes it so much work on all the rest, of really dealing with cause and everything, but the body's already in that process.
Right. Yeah, feel free to use my example if you care to for the rest of it. Feel free to use that.
Thank you. Yeah, some people haven't been able to come to the class, so it'd be nice if they have an example to watch. So
yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, so Nicole, we have like 4 minutes. Can we call people back just to see if there's any questions?
Oh yeah, I closed out the breakout rooms already. Everybody should be back in.
Okay.
So if anybody has any questions, they should be able to unmute themselves and ask.
Actually, I have a question, Eva.
Yeah.
If it's so, as you were taking me through that, you didn't really take me into a meditative state right? So you just sort of walked me through it, asked me to close my eyes, kind of vision, doing all of that. But is that how you typically do your sessions?
Yeah, so I'm interviewing you. I'm getting all the information I'm going to need. Future pacing and how your mind is convinced of something. Now that we did that piece, all of you hopefully have been able to do that piece. Now you can get the client to close their eyes, a light little trance, and have them envision their disease. It's midday, you're feeling that da-da-da-da, and you know, I am so proud of how much I've worked and my body's working and it's doing great. And you feel that green, that purple color in your heart, faith that everything is exactly how it needs to be. And then your future and and all those elements. And so more and more now you notice in the middle of the day that tiredness, that recuperation becomes shorter. And by 2 p.m., you're out and about again, feeling good, your body ready, recuperated. You talk about regenerating.
Mm-hmm.
Then you create a script that is very convincing. Because you
Great.
need ingredients that convinces that particular client.
Yeah, that's great. Love it.
Is there a way, this is Debbie again, is there a way that we can connect with the person we were working with?
Yeah, you know what, I don't know who everybody was working with. If you if you can tell me who you are working with, I can send them your email.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know who was with who, sorry.
Well, that's okay. Do I tell you now or?
Yeah, or just email. No, actually, it'd be better to just email me at hypnotistexaminers@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then because then I can look up everybody's email address. So if you just tell me who you are and who you were working with, and I'll send that person your email and they can get in contact with you.
Okay. So it was hypnotistexaminers.com?
Hypnotistexaminers@gmail.com.
Okay, Gmail. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, and any further questions? This was just an hour. I put in a lot. If you guys just want to write to info@mindbasedhealing.org, I can answer any questions you have about the experience. It's always nice to try the experience first, because then you're like, oh, what happens when this happens? Or, and I can definitely answer your questions. And at mindbasedhealing.org, you'll find, if you actually sign up for the newsletter, I send out a lot of case studies, techniques, and then these sort of webinars on methods to use with chronic disease. Also, February, the next class is actually going to be about the allergy process I commented, because I think it's, we all kind of need to have that in our pockets. It's such a powerful remedy. And so if you've studied, this is actually an NLP process. It's an easy process to do though. So if you want to review it, or you've never experienced the allergy process and want to come join, please do. Just sign up at mindbasedhealing.org.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? If not, it is 6:30, then we'll go ahead and close it out. But last chance, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask if you do have a question.
Eva, can you tell where I'm on your website? Where do you sign up for your newsletter? I'm not seeing that.
Very bottom right. And if you want to see any webinars that are happening, at the top it says for practitioners. You can see different.
Okay, great. I got it. Thank you.
All right. Well, everybody, do not forget that Eva will be with us in March at the HypnoConnect conference in Glendale, California. So come see Eva, come see me, come see all of our other speakers. Again, if you have questions for me, hypnotistexaminers@gmail.com. And if you have any questions for Eva, info@mindbasedhealing.org. And I hope you all have a very wonderful evening.